Hello and welcome to DM Prep. I'm Ian. I'm prepping Curse of Strahd. We're gonna do some stuff. Let's close that. I don't need that. I was just making sure the stream works. Steph is here for once because she's not in the game. She's usually not allowed to be on DM Prep stream. Hi, Steph. Can't watch because Jabel's gonna run it. Well, it was nice having you here for 30 seconds. Holy crap! Viewers just jumped up to 10. Alright, so we already did our session 0. You guys can check that out on YouTube. I think the VOD's still on Twitch for another 5 weeks. But tomorrow is our first session of Curse of Strahd. So the hook that I used to get them into the game was if I recall correctly, was the Into the Mists. That's the name of the chapter. Adventure hooks. It wasn't Plea for Help. It was Mysterious Visitors, but I didn't do the whole Daggerford thing. I thought that was kind of unnecessary. I just started essentially with Dancing Fire. So Stanimir told them the story, asked them to go see Madame Eva, and then they made their way into the Mists. So I dropped them. If we check out lands in Barovia, where's the map? There better be a map. Where's the map? Seriously? There's the map, Jesus. I hate the way the first 2 chapters of this book are organized. It's really like the intro, chapter 1, chapter 2. It's a mess. But I essentially just dropped them into Barovia right over here, Area A. So if we check that out, we look at... Nope. Areas of Barovia, there we go. Area A. So they're just on the Old Svalich Road. First thing they're going to do is... run into the gates of Barovia. So this is nice and easy. It's just here, show them some art. And I just bought the Curse of Strahd module on Roll20, so I literally bought it yesterday. I'm just going to delete start. Actually, let's just see. What's good about blah, blah, blah. Okay. Rollable tokens. I don't know what that means. Different form for each side of one of these tokens. Multi-side. Okay, that's weird. NPC initiative. Yeah, I like using dice. I don't really care about that. Non-square gridded maps. Barovia and Vallaki have hexes. Oh no, they just don't have grids. Okay. Ooh, the map of Barovia has a. I must see this. Ruler. Oh man, that's so cool. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So you know, I can just go here and then figure out how far a walk. So it's about a 4-mile walk to the village of Barovia. That's really cool. I really like that feature. That's neat. But yeah, I don't think I need any of these, but I won't delete it just yet. I'm gonna collapse all of these. That's something I want to do. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ian. I'm the perma-DM for the Gilded Troll. When I say perma-DM, that doesn't mean that I'm the only DM. It just means that I'm 99% of DMing. Steph DMs occasionally. Sean's DM'd once or twice. Joey DM'd once, which was really fun. And anytime... Hey, Venator1996 is now following. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. So I'm Ian, I'm the DM. I have run Curse of Strahd before. I ran it with 3 players, Steph, Chris, and Luke, who are actually all part of our Odyssey of the Dragon Lords campaign, which you can check out 169 hours from now, next Saturday at 4 p.m. EST. It's 168 hours a week, right? 1 week, 2 hours. Yeah, I got it. 168 hours in the week. So 169 hours from now, we're going to start Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, Episode 1. That's Steph, Luke, and Chris are all players that I played with for a long time. And then the other 3 players are Tim, Jesse, and... 69. Tim, Jesse, and Amber, who are actually our viewers and members of our Discord that we decided to add to our games because, hey, we're playing online anyway, why not? But you're here for Curse of Strahd, so tomorrow our group is AJ and Sean, who we've played with before, as well as Jordan, Alex, and Andy, who are all viewer, friend, Discord members, etc. I've actually played with Andy before. He tried DMing Avernus for me and Steph and a few others, but the game fell apart, unfortunately. So yeah, I have run Curse of Strahd before. I didn't stream it. This was before streaming anything was even a twinkle in my eye. Never streamed Curse of Strahd, but I have run it before as a DM, so I feel like I'm fairly well prepared already. I also have a very strong memory, so I read something once and I can recall like 80% of it. So I could probably tell you like all of the enemies in Amber Temple 4 years after running it. Nice and easy. They're going to land at Area A, and then we're going to make our way through the gates of Barovia. I am going to run. There is an encounter here. I can see these dire wolves are here. Dire wolves. I remember there being a dire wolf encounter here. It's like wolves, and there's a dire wolf overlooking, and it's supposed to be spooky, scary. Like the dire wolf doesn't actually attack. But I'm trying to find out like where that encounter actually is. And the reason I want to run that encounter is that two of my players are actually, their hook into the campaign is werewolves. So I gave them Emil and Zuleika from the Werewolf Den as like, you're hunting werewolves and you're trying to find these people, which it should be something that I want to like seed in all throughout their journey, because in case you're not familiar with the campaign, the Werewolf Den's all the way over here on the other side of the valley. Oh look, miles. So straight line distance, that's 16 miles away, but more likely it's something like, I have a hard time seeing the road here. There it is. It's more like 25 miles of travel. It's a decent ways away, and that they're probably not going to get to that side of the valley for like 8 or so sessions. But they are starting at level 1, so the first thing we're going to do is Death House. So I do want to find this direwolf encounter. So like this is direwolves. Wolves. Oh my God, wolves. 26 direwolves. 3. Yeah, these are just random encounters. I remember there being a scripted encounter. Oh, is this it? No. Direwolves, no. Wolves and direwolves, werewolves. This is just a... This is just a, Oh, is it in the Werewolves in the Mist? No. Let's take a look at this, though. Werewolves in the Mist. Anything about when they get there? Welcome to Barovia. No. Yeah, I'm... So last time I ran this, I remember distinctly that I actually had a combat encounter where there were a number of wolves, and then there was a wolf with glowing red eyes hanging back, and that was the dire wolf that was like controlled by Strahd or something. But I'm honestly wondering at this point if I made that up. Dire wolves. It's a lot of dire wolves. What area is this? Svalich Road. Oh, is this it? Crumpled envelope in his hands. Yes, this is it. Okay, this is it. Svalich Woods. I was looking in Area A. It's actually in Area C. That's cool. So yeah, this is something that I want to run very early, just to sort of I want them to know that they're being watched. Is essentially what I'm trying to get at. So for those of you who run this, and for those of you who are familiar with it, you'll know that the way you play Strahd specifically, like his personification, his personality, is tantamount. It's absolutely not tantamount. Paramount. It is paramount to the way that the campaign plays out. And you know, there's a bunch of different ways that you can play him. You can play him as a tragic sort of slave to his own desires kind of person, where you know he could not get over the loss of his youth, and so now he's doomed with decrepitude. You could play him as an absolutely lovesick, kind of cringy loser, which is kind of how I played him last time. He was just constantly pining after the soul of Tatiana in her most recent incarnation. He was a whiny baby. He was a whiny baby lover boy. And then, so the way that I'm going to play him this time is actually different from either of those. I'm going to play him as a sympathetic villain. So he is trapped here by his own hubris. You know, I can't really change I could change the backstory, but I'm not going to change the backstory of him being, consumed by his grief at being old and not being able to woo Tatiana, and you know he reaches out to the dark powers, ends up driving Tatiana to her death, and then killing his brother and then driving Tatiana to her death, and then dying himself before becoming a vampire. I'm not going to change any of that, but what I will change is that, I'm not even changing it. The way that I'm going to run him is essentially that he is going to be... all he wants to do is die. His main goal is to just escape from this prison in one way or the other, and he's well aware that that the Dark Powers will never let him actually willingly leave, and he thinks that the only way that he can leave is to be permanently destroyed. Whether or not that's actually true is, it remains to be seen. I'm not going to make a decision on that at the moment, but what I am going to do is that Madame Ava, the Vistani fortune teller, is essentially trying to do the same thing. She wants to help Strahd. She wants to free him from his eternal torment. And in doing so, free the valley from Strahd's eternal torment. So what I have done is I have 4 separate groups of 5 adventurers. The players are one of them. The other 3, they are going to run into over the course of the campaign in various states. These are not other player characters, they're just NPCs. And some of the NPCs are actually people from the players' backstories. And then, essentially Madame Ava knows that Strahd can be anywhere, but she also knows that he can't be everywhere. He can be nearly everywhere because of his control of the ravens, the wolves, and even the Vistani. He can see practically anything. He can get reports from practically anywhere, but she's hoping that if she throws enough adventurers at the problem, it'll eventually resolve itself. And then, spoiler alert, the PCs will probably be the ones that actually succeed. So that's sort of the rationale that I'm going with this. So also, Strahd knows that he can't just murder people who come to his land. He could do that. He could absolutely do that. And it would actually help him in very minor ways because his land is starved for souls. He needs more souls. But, yeah, and every single person that he kills adds a soul to Barovia permanently because that soul can never leave, which allows him to actually sate his thirst. Because if he drinks blood from a Barovian that doesn't have a soul, throw nat 20s at me to make one specific NPC. That would be really funny. But I'm mostly going to handle like what the other adventurers are doing off screen. That's mostly not going to come up during a session, but I am expecting at least one like party versus party showdown, because I think that would be really interesting. Like they both are trying to get this artifact that they're both trying to get the Sun Sword or something. But Strahd knows that powerful adventurers might actually be able to kill him, but he also knows that if he doesn't do anything, the dark powers will kill the players for him. So yeah, he has to make it look like he's trying to put up a fight for the dark powers, so that they don't intercede. They land in Barovia. They're essentially they're on a dirt road, nothing but fog behind them, nothing but fog further off in front of them. So essentially, like when they look behind them, it's like there's fog 10 feet behind you, and as you walk, it looks like a solid wall of fog, which essentially says, "Go west, dumbasses." So they'll head west, get to the gates, and then shortly after the gates, once the gates close behind them, it's like, well, you stuck here. I am kind of hoping that one of the players does walk into the fog, because that'll introduce them to the concept of how deadly the fog is, which is that if you start your turn in the fog, you make it's either a con or a whiz save versus exhaustion. DC 20 con save versus exhaustion. That's anyone that enters the if you start your turn in the fog. Yeah, it's rough. So I'm hoping that one of them gets a level of exhaustion, so that just to sort of like, you don't go in the mists. You do not go in the mists, the fog, you don't go in the woods. Stick to the roads, because if the players are able to take shortcuts through woods, it wrecks shit. C dot space. There we go. So then, yeah, I should have gone to B. So they'll get through the gates of Barovia. The gates will close behind them, and then while they're still making their way through the Svalich Woods here, is when I'll run this, and it'll be, there's a dead man, and then if they linger, they hear a wolf howl, and then each round one more wolf adds its voice to the howling, and then if they don't run away, I'm not going to do 5 dire wolves. That's hilariously overpowered. 5 CR1s versus 5 level 1s. They die instantly. Yeah, let me just pack tactics +5. They can one-shot players. Am I going to use sound effects? I am still working on getting better at using Roll20. Just today I started learning dynamic lighting. I have not figured out how to add sound effects to Roll20, and I really don't want to do... I don't want to do something like use a soundboard that my mic has to pick up. I don't want to have to do that. I do not have plans for sound effects at this time. But as this campaign goes on, maybe I would love like hooting owls in the distance, howling wolves, blowing wind, that kind of spooky, scary skeleton kind of stuff. But anyway, so once they get past the Svalich Woods, they get the letter, and they get Kolyan and Dirovich's letter, version 2, which is the one that's actually from Kolyan and Dirovich. Oh Jesus, that is really low res. What the hell? That's a very low res image. Awesome. Oh, why is this? Okay. So the reason I opened this is I wanted to look at the handouts because I wanted to see what they have. Yeah, I know that Roll20 has sound. I just haven't figured it out yet. So I don't want to fuck things up by trying to do it. I'm a fan of doing things well and not doing things poorly. Why do I have? Why are there so few handouts? Like, there's handouts for monster art. There's handouts for named creature art. But there's 3 handouts for text. What the hell? Seriously. Why is there so... Like, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Where's this guy? Like, where are all... Well, I mean, this one's in there. Oh, no, that's... If you need a map for your players, I recommend this one. Let's check this out. Why can't I... Oh, my God. For some reason, I can't interact with the chat panel. oakthorn.net/wiki/images/thumb/900 pics-barovia-player-map.typica. I did it. I mean, that's cute. Is there a different subheading for text handouts? Like, this is all my handouts. This is kind of a cute map. I don't hate it. In the past, what I did was I just gave my players a whole ass map. I'm not super concerned with them having this map. I think it's fine. I'm actually kind of wondering like how I did it. I don't fully remember how I did it. Check each chapter, maybe they're in there. Let's find out. Into the Mists. Oh, yeah. Oh my god, that's a nightmare. So this is version 1. Yeah, this is version 1. And then chapter 2, Lands of Barovia, that'll have this guy. Yeah, version 2. See, that's annoying to me. I want all my handouts in one place. But, good call, Amber. Good call. Good call. Yeah, so... Yeah, so let's get out of there. And then... Instructed to place a letter at the gates in the hopes that... Yeah, where is this guy actually supposed to be? They're traveling Vistani wagons. They're not following the road on foot. Highest perception, you catch the scent of death. Follow to the corpse. All right. Yeah, you got the map laid, but like I don't remember exactly like how you got the map. Like I feel like eventually I was just like, yeah, you guys like here's the map because I'm tired of you asking how far is it from here to here? How far is it from here to here? How far is it from here to here? Because like when you guys were planning which place to go next, it was, well, how far is it to Vallaki? Well, how far is it from Vallaki to Krezk? Well, how far is it from Vallaki to the Amber Temple? And it was just like, here's a map. Here's the map. Figure it out. Figure out where you're going. So yeah, that was I think that's honestly what happened last time. What was I gonna say? I forget. Yeah, here's the map measured out. Oh, one thing that I did last time was I thought it was a little silly that you could literally get from like town to town in an hour, because like some of these like these hexes are a quarter mile, and the village of Barovia to Serpool is, let's see how many hexes. So you're going here, you're going here. Where's the road to Serpool? There it is. Okay. So you're going here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then... Yeah, like the road from Village Barovia to the Serpool encampment is 5 miles. That's an hour 40 to get there. So what I did was I actually quadrupled. You're not wandering through fog because, you know, the fog's, you know, it's not that thick that you can't see your hand in front of your face, and there's a road. But like you can get there in an hour 40, and I just thought that was ridiculous. So I quadrupled the size of each hex. So, you know, they left the village of Barovia and got to the Serpool encampment, but then they were forced to spend the night there because they wouldn't have been able to make it anywhere from there. Got a map after telling a story to the Vistani at the campfire at Serpool. That actually sounds like a really good idea. I don't hate that. Like, just here, have a map of the valley. We're Vistani. Out of anyone, we're the ones who would have the map. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to run this so that they get the I do want to. So it's not going to be 5 dire wolves. Essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like 5 wolves attack them. Is that Is that too much? Probably not. CR quarter, 5 of them, 11 hit points, +4 to hit. Pack tactics. They aren't going to quite one-shot people for the most part. They are going to knock people prone. They have advantage on most attacks. They go down in 2 hits. They go down in 2 hits, but it also takes them 2 hits to kill someone. Players have heals and spells that can... Yeah, okay, I think wolves are fine. But there's also or 5 wolves. There's also my players just got very, very angry at the overpriced dude and refused to buy anything from him. Luke stole a pot. A pot. Not pot. A pot. He just stole a pot. That pot never came up later in the campaign. Ever. Not once. So 5 wolves are going to essentially swarm them, and there's going to be like 2 or 3 dire wolves just chilling in the woods with their eyes glowing, and they're just going to watch the whole time. They're not going to fight no matter what, and the players can just go on their way. And as they're making their way out of the woods, the whole time they're traveling in the woods, they're going to see these eyes just watching them. Imagine if the pot had the image of bats running water in sunlight. That'd be funny. So then they're going to go to the village of Barovia, which is chapter 3. But we are not going to do a whole lot of stuff in the village of Barovia because we're immediately just going to go into Death House. Death House is the appendix adventure. The campaign's like designed to be run from level 3, but they added Death House. Essentially, it's like, if you wanted to start at level 1, this will advance you to level 3. If you got a super adventurous one who wants to take on the big dire wolves and charges at the eyes, that super adventurous one will die. If you want to be dumb and attack something that is very clearly giving you a chance to run the fuck away, then you deserve to die. That's how that works. So I have Death House. It's very dark because there's dynamic lighting here. So I'm just going to throw a random token in here. Here, I'll grab a Appendix B, Death House. I don't have any tokens in here. Can I just... No. That's a handout. Let's not do that. Let me just throw a random token here. Here's a token. And then select advanced, emits light, 30, 30. All players see light, has sight. So now I can see what a player would be able to see with dynamic lighting. So if they're outside, they can see through this portcullis into the vestibule. If they're in the vestibule, they can see out the portcullis. So I can. So now I have dynamic lighting and all that. Oh, there's gaps. What the hell? Actually, that's kind of neat that there's gaps. It's kind of cool. Like they can sort of get an idea of what they can see. You have to give each token sight. Yeah, I figured that earlier today. Also, I added this. Oh Jesus! What the hell? I added this portcullis. Oops, is it right click? Yeah. I added this portcullis on the dynamic lighting because it didn't have anything. So I just added a bunch of little tiny circles. And then I can essentially just grab a door and get rid of it whenever they open one. So nice and easy. Dynamic lighting is not terrible. But yeah, so each player that's carrying a light will emit light, and then each token I just have to check has sight. Not a big deal. I don't have tokens for them yet. I don't want to reveal their character art because the big reveal is tomorrow. But I will be making tokens for the players with their character art by Mr. Bayless, who does all of our art. Fantasy Grounds has dynamic lighting system. You can gray out to see what. That's kind of neat. Sunday. Yeah, so tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST is Curse of Strahd episode 1. Essentially, the only thing I need to refresh on is how Death House is introduced. I do remember all the history. There was a cult. They tried to summon some shit. They all died, and then, or they weren't. Yeah, they, thinned as members being. They regarded Strahd as a messiah. Pledge of devotion for promise of immortality, but turned them away. They withdrew to Death House in despair. Cult snared a band of adventurers whom Strahd had lured to his domain. Oh, Strahd killed them all. Cool. Neato. Yeah, I do remember the children on the street, Rose and Thorn. Rosavalda and Thornbolt, which was less impressive because it already had showed up on screen, but I did know their names. I'm smart. So yeah, the gravel road leads to a village. So one thing that I fucked up, I even remember fucking this up. I read this read aloud text, and I remember it not matching this very well. Ghost kids, they're cuties. They're cuties. Tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. Oh yeah, gives way to slick, wet cobblestones, and then the gravel road leads to a village. What is it? Is it muddy that leads to cobblestone, or is it gravel that leads to a? Yeah, I remember that fucking me up the first time. So the muddy road gives way to cobblestones in a village. Its tall houses dark as tombstones. Nestled among these solemn dwellings are a handful of closed-up shops. Even the tavern is shut tight. Soft whimpering draws your eye toward a pair of children standing in the middle of an otherwise lifeless street. So they are crying, and they say there's a monster in their house. They don't know what the monster looks like. Heard terrible howls. Their parents keep the monster trapped in the basement. There's a baby in the third floor nursery. Untrue, but they believe it. Okay, cool beans. They won't go back in the house until they know the monster's gone. They appear to be flesh and blood children. Vanish if attacked. If they appear to be flesh and blood, can you touch them, is my question. Okay, I was wondering, like, how do they get railroaded in? Because I really need to railroad them into the, I kind of want to just say they're flesh and blood because I feel like someone is going to be like, oh, like, I want to give them a hug and, make them feel better. And illusions can be solid, right? They are real images. Create an image. But, like, can you touch them? So I'm going to say that they're not actually physical, but the magic actually tells you that you're touching something. Since they're soft bodies, if in the process of doing the trying to hug the illusion, you move into where it is. It's just like, yeah, it looks like you're crushing them a little bit. So they're not actually solid, but the illusion convinces you that they are, because magic. So yeah, I was worried about railroading them in, because if I don't railroad them into Death House, they're not going to be level 3 when they start doing like Barovia stuff, which is going to be kind of a big deal. So this is the part where a lesser DM would say, oh, okay, well, I can start at the first floor and I'll just prep the first floor and like that'll be that. So here's the problem with that. There's a balcony on the 3rd floor, and when I ran Curse of Strahd, my players were like, there's a balcony, I have a climb speed, I climb up to the balcony, we're going in the balcony door. And then they immediately fought the Spectre. That was fun. Yeah, so you definitely need to know the entire house. Um, so I guess this is the part where we start prepping the entire house. If you remain outside the house, the mist starts. They engulf anyone outside. So you need to run like at least into this portico. Walls are slick with moss, making the walls unclimbable. That works if you don't actually have a climb speed, and that also works if you're an asshole and don't understand that there's just DCs for climbing. Like even if it's slick moss, I would say that's a DC 20 athletics check. Very difficult, not impossible. Technically, that's a hard DC. But even at level 1, you know, totally. I'm not trying to say Shadows is a dick. I'm just saying that like that's the kind of thing a dick DM would do. Is no, you can't do that. But yeah, I would actually say that moss. I mean, we can quibble about DCs, but point is, it would be a very hard DC. Oh, you're a dick. No questions. Okay. Point is, it would be a very difficult thing to do, one way or another. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger because I don't think it's showing up very large on stream. Very difficult to climb. Definitely not impossible. Never impossible, unless it's something that's literally impossible. But yeah, so if you take a look at this front view of the house, you can see that there is a balcony on the 3rd floor. And then this is actually something that you would want to be prepared to show your players, because this front view is something that they can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Actually, let's see. Let's see if it's available as a handout. It is available as a handout. That's phenomenal. I was going to make one, but so fantastic. So I can give this handout to them. And then, and what's really cool is the GM notes. I mean, I don't think I needed this on this handout, but okay. But I can share this with my players, and then they can go, ooh, there's balconies. Like, there's a balcony on the 4th floor, there's a balcony on the 3rd floor. We can just break a fucking window up here to get in. You know, there's a baby in the attic. Why go through the whole house? We'll just go straight up to the fucking attic. And sure, go, have fun. You can end up right in area 17 if you just break this big window, or area 18 if you break this littler one. So the thing is, the dynamic lighting has the windows completely blocked, which is interesting because like these aren't boarded over or anything. So I'm wondering, does this features 2 balconies on the 3rd floor, one facing the front, one facing the back. 3rd floor, yep, 12C is a balcony. Wooden floors throughout, windows of hinges allow them to swing outward, okay. Rooms on the 1st and 2nd floor are free of dust and signs of age. Neat, well-oiled, drapes and wallpaper haven't faded, furniture looks new. No effort's been made to preserve the contents of the 3rd floor or attic, okay. Ceilings vary in height, 10, 12, 8, 13, okay. None of the rooms are lit, although most areas contain working oil lamps or fireplaces. So one thing that I do want to do, and I'll make a note of this, make a torch lamp token. So the dynamic lighting should have shutters. So it has, it's got like orange, like it does have like selectable things that I can remove. But like, if the windows are just glass, then light should be able to go through one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't have this here at all. It should just be, here's an opening, and then I can, you know, shine a light in. But maybe they're like, I don't know. Burn the house to the ground. Destruction is temporary. 1d10 days begins to blah blah blah. Or just open. Is there like, can I do something with this? Is this like, what can I do with this other than delete it? Is that a thing I can? I don't know. I don't into Roll20 very good. I mean, yeah, I can drag it away, but then there's just this random shadow over here. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like, I feel like I should be able to like rotate it, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. It's like a shutter. And the same thing with the doors. Like there should be like a hinge so that I can just, and then, you know, it's, so instead of being here, it would be polygon line. So instead of being there, I would have a door there, something like that. There's nothing stopping me from just doing that myself, but yeah. I'm not seeing anything about the windows being boarded over, and then on the first and second floor, they're free of signs of dust. So like there isn't even grime on the windows. So I know, Jables. I knew you were gonna say it. I was considering saying it before you said anything. But yeah. So yeah, let's start talking. And by talking, I mean prepping. So entrance, wrought iron gate with hinges on one side and a lock on the other fills an archway of a stone portico. Okay, so so it's a wrought iron gate, not a portcullis, but there's a hinge over here and a lock over here. Gate is unlocked. Its rusty hinges shriek when the gate is open. So this is really cool. So the rusty hinges don't just squeal or squeak; they shriek. So that's a personification, which is one of the marks of horror. And absolutely something that I definitely want to play up as much as possible. I want to make objects feel like they are living things that can kill you, even if they can't. Especially if they can't. Oil lamps hang from the portico ceiling by chains, flanking a set of oaken doors that open into a grand foyer. Hey, the Guardian 77 subscribed at Tier 1. 8-month streak. That's fantastic. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the sub. And what is that emote? Gates have animated faces that scream as you open and close them. No, they just shriek. The hinges shriek. It's fine. Hey, we got a Twitch Prime sub from Venator1996. Thanks for your Twitch Prime sub. Thanks for them Bezos bucks. I'm guessing that's going to show up. There it is. So let me turn my volume up a little bit so I don't miss those. Hang on the south wall of the foyer, which is this room. There's a shield emblazoned. Oh, south is right. I hate that. Emblazoned with a coat of arms, stylized golden windmill on a red. Okay, so if north is that way, so when they enter the town, they're headed west, which means that when they see Death House, so they see the children on the road to their right as they're entering the town. They head up to the children, and then Death House is on their right, and left is north. Got it. Okay. Shield emblazoned with a coat of arms, golden windmill on a red field, flanked by framed portraits of stony-faced aristocrats, long dead members of the Durst family. Mahogany framed double doors leading from the foyer to the main hall. So this is oaken doors into the foyer, mahogany doors on the inside, because oak is easier to weatherproof than mahogany. So main hall, which is 2. We got 2A, 2B. Wide hall runs the width of the house, all 30 feet of it, which sounds like it looks so tiny, but then you think about it, you're like a 30-foot wide house. Like I think my house is about 18 or 20 feet wide, so 30 feet wide is huge. But it just looks so tiny on a battle map. Black marble fireplace on one end, sweeping red marble staircase at the other. Mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a non-magical longsword. That I love how they specified non-magical, with a windmill cameo worked into the hilt. The paneled walls are innately blah 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 blah. Serpents and skulls inconspicuously woven into the wall designs. Decorative paneling follows the staircase as circles upward towards the second floor. Interesting. If they search the walls for secret doors, they find paneling that leads upstairs with the staircase. I want to know where that goes, is my thing. So let's look at the second floor. Like, where are they going with this, with the secret door? So let's go to area 6. Upper hall. They don't go anywhere with it. Seriously? Where's the snake stuff? Excuse me? Serpents and skulls inconspicuously woven in the wall design. Decorative paneling follows the staircase and circles upward to the second floor. So... and it just ends at this door, I guess? That door is area 7A. Something there. Huh? Wow. Yeah, so that goes nowhere. That's neat. It's just a detail. But I guess it stops at this door. It's just a neat detail that might put them on edge. Cloakroom 2B, black cloaks, top hat on a high shelf. Cool. I do appreciate decorations, but I just wish there was like a call out to the DM, like, this isn't important, it's just here. So area 3 is the front sitting room. Hunter's den, padded chairs, oak table, bunch of stuff in here. 2 cabinets against the walls, to your left and right as you enter. East cabinet, which is to your left as you enter. Sports a lock that can be picked. Heavy crossbow, light crossbow, hand crossbow, 20 bolts for each weapon. North cabinet is unlocked. Deck of playing cards, assortment of wine glasses. Trap door hidden in the floor. They can't be detected or opened until approached from the underside. Till then, Death House supernaturally hides the trapdoor. Neato. You make the serpents work as an alarm trap for the inhabitants? I don't think that's really necessary. Death House is pretty deadly as it is. Kitchen and pantry, 4A, 4B. Kitchen area. So yeah, it looks like there's a whole lot of like nothing on the first floor. Like there's no combat here. There's no murdering to be done. There aren't really even secrets to find. You could notice if you're astute. Oops, let's put that back. If you're like really perceptive, you can see that there's a hole. There's a 5-foot area that is not accessible. You can't really do anything with it from here. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at this. Search for secret doors, twisted faces carved into the tree trunks, and wolves lurking amid the carved foliage. Red silk drapes cover the windows in the dining room. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Tapestry depicting hunting dogs and horse-mounted aristocrats chasing after a wolf. Hangs from an iron rod bolted to the south wall. Alright, we're on the second floor. Is the second floor where shit starts hitting the fan? I don't see any bold text. I don't see any bold text. Yeah, shit doesn't hit the fan until the third floor. That's interesting. So upper hall, they're just exploring this house, and they go through 2 entire floors of, nothing dangerous at all. There is, I do see a secret door here, and that's deletable. Oops, oh, I want to move that. Okay. Third floor, yeah. Upper hall, suits of armor flanking doors. Got it. Each suit of armor clutches a spear as a visored helm. Doors are carved with dancing youths. Exactly. 2 floors of nothing dangerous is a great opportunity for the DM to set up a horror escape. There's a lot of really scary details here, especially DC 12 perception check reveals the youths aren't really dancing but fighting off swarms of bats. So one of the suits of armor is animated armor on the 3rd floor. I do remember that. Should be area 11. Balcony. Bam. Animated armor. Bam. Cool. Hidden library door that used to have a trap. Let's take a look at that. Secret door. Spats fake book. Causes to close on its own. I don't see anything about a trap. But I mean, I could always ad-lib that there used to be a trap there. But yeah, so like the first 2 floors of this area, it's actually really funny because I don't remember the first 2 floors very well because my players just skipped to the 3rd floor. I didn't realize that the first 2 floors are essentially a really, really good opportunity to just... Oh, the chest in the room. Okay. The chest in the secret room. Okay. Treasure. Okay. Yeah, poison dart trap. Okay. Now I remember that. Okay. So the first 2 floors are essentially a really good opportunity for the DM to set this horror mood. Everything here is scary. Everything here is spoopy. Even though it's not killing you, even though it's not actively removing your hit points, it's still scary. Ad-lib a broken poison needle trap. Don't need to. There's a guy who already died to it. So yeah, let's go back up. So servant's room, dumb waiter. Dumb waiter goes down to the kitchen. Nice and easy. That's 4B. Oh no, it's 7B. Wait. Corner of the west wall. Oh, right here. That's a tiny little dumbwaiter. Damn. Let's go that. Suspense. Thank you, Steph. That's the word I wanted. It's very suspenseful. Even though nothing's killing you, you're fully expecting things to kill you, so you're on edge. You're waiting for the trap. You know it's coming. You just don't know when. So the upper hallway, servant's room. 8 is the library, which is really interesting, and then it has a secret door for this secret room. And then it's not even hard to find, like a DC 13 perception, if you're inspecting the bookshelf. The will to the house is in the chest, mentioning Rose and Thorn, but no baby. Ooh. You mean, I'm guessing you mean the deed. Oh no, it's a will. Okay. Will signed by Gustav, bequeaths the house to Rosavalda, and Thornbolt does not mention a baby. Fucking smart. Have the hearth in the kitchen light up with green flame. What is with you and green? What's with you and green lights? With green serpendize, green fire. I don't even need to do that. So this is actually a really good point. So if I have these tiny little jump scares that poof and then nothing happens, that actually detracts from the suspense. If the players are constantly expecting something to happen and nothing happens, that's scarier than if they're expecting something to happen and something actually does. Because the longer I can go without anything actually happening to them, the more they get worried that they're going to miss when it does. If they go through the first room and nothing happens, and then they go through the second room and then nothing happens, they're gonna be like, okay, so that makes sense. Like, they're not gonna immediately start killing you, but we should probably start looking out. And then they go through the third and the fourth and the fifth room, and then they're constantly like, oh well, that's a little sketch. Let me poke it with a pole. So they start thinking, let me be more careful, and then they keep doing that. And then what you do is you lull them into a false sense of security. And then as soon as they stop looking into everything like it's going to kill them, that's when you spring it on them. That's when you spring something that's actually dangerous. And I think that this is a good pace. 10 areas where nothing really happens to them. The first 2 or 3 areas, they're probably not even worried about it. And then, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. I'm guessing that the second floor landing is probably when they're first going to get worried because of the suits of armor. You see the suits of armor, and you're like, that's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. So they poke it, they knock it over, they make a lot of noise. And then they're worried about that noise that they made. And then so you have to build up this suspense, and having these tiny little, like, green fire out of nowhere, it's like, ah! Okay. So letter bearing the seal of Strahd von Zarovich. Alright, so let's get to the meat of this thing now. So we're on the third floor. Suit of animated armor attacks as soon as it takes damage or a character approaches within 5 feet of it. So as soon as they're off the stairs, because right here is within 5 feet of this animated armor. And if I, so I'm going to switch to token, and if I hide the overlay, like, the armor is here. The players can see the armor on their map, but then it's a token. I'm the only one who knows that. So that's the first thing that really happens. Like, they get to the top and they're like, okay, well, I mean, like, maybe we'll knock this armor over again, and then it attacks them. And animated armor is kind of a joke. It's not exactly difficult to kill, but it does have 33 hit points, so it's probably going to get 2 turns in. Damage immunity to poison is actually relevant because we have a grung. But other than that, it's like, ooh, 2 melee attacks at 5 damage. Like, it doesn't do much, but it is kind of hard to kill because it has 33 hit points. You know, that's a lot for level 1 characters to have to do. Unless they all just honestly like rock their rolls, and then because it does have 18 AC, like it's decently defensive. So that is not how I roll. That is not how I rule surprise. In order to get surprise, no, that is how I rule surprise. Yeah, I have done that in the past. Yes, if the players are unaware that a creature exists, then it gets surprise. And because they weren't aware that the armor was a creature, then it would get surprise unless they tell me, I'm worried about that armor. Then it does not get surprised, because even though they don't know that it's armor, they think they do. So if they say, I'm watching that armor and slowly making my way up to it, then I will not have a surprise. I will not have them surprised during the first round of combat. Thanks for following, Nandofer. Nandofer. But yeah, so it could potentially get surprise. Master Suite. So this is where, I'm thinking 15, the nursery. So Master Suite is surprisingly absent of threats. Cobweb-filled room, burgundy drapes, 4-poster bed, tattered gossamer veils. So once they get up to the 3rd floor, things start falling apart. Like, things aren't kept, appearances aren't kept up. And then there's a door, has a full-length mirror on it. Door in the parlor, which is right here, leads to an outside balcony. All right. Dumbwaiter. Oh, the dumbwaiter goes all the way. Okay, dumbwaiter goes all the way up here. Does not go up to the attic though. So they could, if they wanted, just climb up from the 1st floor to the attic. But I think the dumbwaiter requires a small character. I don't think medium characters can fit in it. Small character can squeeze. Yeah. So medium characters can't get in. So the grung might be just like, I'm gonna climb up. Yeah. Oh, we have a tiny pixie. So small characters can squeeze, and tiny characters can just. Yeah. So we may very well see Snirk and Elodie. I have to ask AJ how to pronounce her character's name. Might see them just climb the dumbwaiter. Bathroom, clawfoot tub. I love clawfoot tubs. Storage room with a broom of animated attack. That will very likely get surprised, because no one's going to expect the broom to attack them. So the nursemaid's suite is real neat. Haunts the bedroom as a specter. It manifests and attacks when someone opens the door to the nursery. So that happened when my players opened this door, since they climbed up onto the balcony immediately. So they just opened the door and just got ambushed by a specter. Specters are kind of gnarly. Let's take a look at what they do. Life drain, that's it. Hit point maximum reduction, that's the big one. And it's fucking 3d6 damage. That could literally just kill someone, like right off the bat. I think the sorcerer has like 8 hit points. Yeah, that's fucking gnarly. It only has 22 hit points, but it's resistant to non-magical damage. So, you know. Warlocks are going to be stuffed. Why? Because Eldritch Blast? 7 hit points for AJ's Pixie? Very nice. Here, let me see. I can open my campaigns. Strahd. I love how they... Oh, okay. Elodie. Oh, she got 8. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, she got 8. Rogue, Druid, Snirk. Snirk's got like 12 hit points. Yeah, he got 12. Oh, she lied to you. I mean, it's possible that AJ doesn't really, like, know. Like, she hasn't played the character yet, so it's not like she's going to know it in and out. Inside and out, that's the phrase. I'm a huge fan of incorporeal movement, because it can just be like, yeah, I'm going to go into this wall. And then if they don't know that there's a secret door, it's just like, well, fuck. Yeah, the Spectre can kill via massive damage. Like, if it reduces your hit points to your max HP to 4, and then it does 8 damage in the next attack, you're dead. That said, there are dark gifts. Expanded dark gifts. So there is, sure, meetup, why not? So the Adventures League, I always use this expanded dark gifts table. In the book, it only has dark gifts 1 through 6. But Adventures League, well, they have dark gifts. So you get a dark gift when you die. So if you die and you're not yet level 5, you get a dark gift. Or you are offered a dark gift. So I run dark gift vignette. Reddit, Curse of Strahd. Haha! Resurrection vignettes. So I found this post on Reddit so long ago. And essentially it's, you die. You can't fucking read this. You die, and then you just find yourself in a place. You find yourself being chased by whatever killed you. You're not even aware you're dead. You just find yourself being chased. And you run and you run and you slam a door behind you and you see a dark creature, hooded, spectral, skeletal. And it reaches out its hand and says, I can offer you a second chance for a price. And then they get to choose, one way, they can choose whether or not to accept it. And then if they accept it, they get one of these dark gifts, which almost universally suck. Heroes never die for a price. Characters' feet change to resemble those of a giant ape. Unable to wear footwear, speed reduced by 10 feet, but now they ignore difficult terrain when they got naked feet. Yeah, my players had a hard time with the Mimic Door too, just because Mimics have stupid amounts of health. So, yeah. But yeah, like I love these vignettes, so I run these vignettes when people die in Curse of Strahd. Love it, love it, love it. So we got a Spectre. Spectre's gnarly because it can just fly through a wall. You can't do anything about it. It flies out, and then it attacks you, and then flies back into a wall. Flies into the floor, whatever. I actually really like the idea of it flying into the floor because then, like, if someone's by the door, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even they only have 30 feet move speed. And then if it decided to be in this room, like, they can actually see it. Yeah. Attic Hall. Oh, 16 is upstairs. Oh, okay, I'm already done with 3rd floor. So yeah, attic. This hallway in the attic is humongous. Bear Hall is choked with dust and cobwebs. Door to Area 20 is locked with a padlock. Keys kept in the library. Lock can also be picked. Spare bedroom, 17. Dust choked, nightstand, etc. Doll and lacy dress. Area 18 storage. Packed with old furniture near an iron stove. Nursemaid Spectre. Unless it was defeated in Area 15. Character inspecting the remain. Okay, so near an iron stove, underneath one of the sheets is an unlocked wooden trunk containing the skeletal remains of the family's nursemaid wrapped in the tattered bedsheet stained with dry blood. And you can tell that she was stabbed to death by multiple knife wounds. The chances of them having knock are 0 because it's a 2nd level spell, and they won't be level 3 until they finish Death House. So literally 0. Secret door here for when certain conditions are met. See Area 21. Okay. Children's room. So they have this toy. They have essentially like a tiny little house. What's the chance of any of them taking knock? Very low. No one ever takes knock in my games. I don't know why. I love knock. I think knock's a cool spell. It does feel expensive when you're low level to spend a 2nd level spell slot on knock. But once you're level like 7, spending a 2nd level spell slot on something like that is a pretty good use of your time. Unless you feel like there's no time constraints, and then it's just like just spend several minutes trying to pick that lock. Like just go, just try it. Like keep going. So children's room. So children's room is kind of that is true. Knock does open barred doors. That is a pretty big deal. That's true. I can't remember the last time I put a barred door in a game. That's not true. There was one in Icefire Peak. I didn't put it there, but there was one in Icefire Peak when I went to Axholm. There was a barred door, and what they ended up doing was have Luke's character, Perry, sneak through a window and unbar it from the other side. Or actually, no, I think they all climbed in through the chimney. But yeah, no, the fact that it does unbar doors is pretty incredible. So, Durst children were neglected by the parents until they starved to death. Sucks. Thorn's skeleton cradles the boy's stuffed doll. Toy chest contains an assortment of stuffed animals and toys. So if you search the dollhouse, you find all of the house's secret doors, including the one in the attic that leads to a spiral staircase. If you have the dollhouse or the chest is disturbed, Rose and Thorn appear. So they are small, lawful good, 35 hit points. They lack horrifying visage, and they speak common and have a CR3. So they don't like when you disturb their toys, but they'll only fight if you attack them. They will possess you. The fast how one gets to the basement says there's a secret door in the attic. So then they would have advantage if they search the dollhouse. If they try to leave, then they try to possess them. If they possess them, they allow you to retain control. I remember this. But assign one of the following flaws. Death by starvation causes a certain type of undead to spawn. Yeah, ghost. I don't know. I don't. I've never heard of a specific kind of undead that is created by dying of starvation. But they're ghosts now. That's a specific type of undead. I do like the getting flaws when they possess you. A character possessed by the ghost won't willingly leave Death House or the dungeon below it. They can be intimidated into leaving their host. That's funny. They can reform the next day, but we have to put their skeletal remains in their tombs. They don't notice though. They each gain inspiration if you lay that. Whoa! When a power word killed a player, oops, their spirit went to a gray area where other souls were waiting to go to new bodies. Made it so they recognized some people that had died and emphasized this was still in Barovia and not a happy afterlife. Then a voice offering them to come back to continue fighting, and they gained that they felt hopeless, which in their eyes broke the paladin bond and turned them into an oathbreaker. Wow. Neat. Cool beans. That's pretty neat. That's a cool character. It's a cool character moment. Don't exist until the house reveal them. So you have to find Strahd's letter in the secret room behind the library, where you find the replica secret door in the dollhouse. So, Hammering Soul, Hidden Altar, Torching in your dungeon. Say your curse, your fortune spent. So this doesn't actually tell you how to find it, but it causes the secret door to exist. Once the house wills the secret door into existence, you find it automatically if you search the wall. No ability check. So cool. So yeah, so this is essentially where I'm going to stop here, because when I was playing in person, this was as far as we got, and I don't think they're going to get any further than this, because online play always moves slower, and I've been doing prep for over an hour, and I don't know if it's super interesting to just see me reading things and learning, and I don't know, like, is it interesting for me to just like read the module with you guys here? Like I like well, the thing is, so here's the thing, if I prep too much today, then I won't have anything to prep next week. So like it's going to be the same amount of prep one way or the other. But I like to split it up in reasonable increments, and I feel like this is a good stopping point. So I am going to railroad them into Death House the way that the module. The house is supposed to be a one-shot, but it definitely takes a while. Yeah, I think it's like a 6-hour thing, but I am going to. I do have stuff like before. I do have stuff before Death House, because I want to do, like, I want to really play up the Gates of Barovia. I want to do that wolf encounter, and then they get to Death House, and then they start exploring Death House. I do think it's going to take them about 2.5, 3 hours to explore the house, to find the spiral staircase into the basement. So I think that this is a reasonable spot to stop prepping. And even if they do manage to even if they do manage to get to the spiral staircase in like 2.5, 3 hours into the session, I can just say, hey, this is as far as I prepped, and we'll continue next time on Dungeons and Dragons. Or what I can do is just sort of run this cold, because honestly, I don't think the basement is particularly... oh, Jesus, hiccup. I don't think the basement's particularly complicated. Most of the rooms are pretty self-explanatory and independent. So I can probably just run it cold. No big deal. So yeah, we're just gonna stop here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so I'm not sure what day of the week I'm going to be doing DM prep for Curse of Strahd normally. I can't do it on Saturdays because 15 minutes ago, on any Saturday after today, I would have started playing Odyssey. So probably going to be somewhere in the middle of the week, or maybe like a Thursday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then I also want to do a DM prep for Odyssey. So, and then we're also moving Last Call. So we're moving Last Call to Wednesdays. Yeah, join the Discord for scheduling. I do occasionally update the channel graphic and the schedule and all that on Twitch. But the best place to get updates for like when things are being scheduled is our Discord server. If you mute literally every channel but general, that'll at least give you that info, if that convinces you to join. But yeah. Yeah, so we're going to stop here, and we'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST when we actually run all this content. So thanks for being here, and bye-bye.